Hey, what's up people? So in this video I will be covering everything you need to know about the Chris Reeve Inkosi large drop point. And yeah, you can find a lot of content about this knife on my channel if you're interested about how this knife performs in different uses. But this is the whole summary of all that stuff, basically. For a size comparison, here we have a Victorinox Pioneer large blade. Here we have a knife that's exactly as long as a buck 110. Here we have a red number 1. Here we have a paramilitary 2, all pivot to pivot. And here we have a Jebukov Scout, because why the hell not, right? So the Chris Reeve Inkosi large is basically a thicker version, both in spine and also in grind, than the Sebenza, or of the Sebenza I should say. Also has a larger pivot, has larger washers, has a ceramic ball inlay in the frame lock that also is present on the Sebenza 31 that's now being released right now. And yeah, it has a different angled pocket clip than the Sebenza 21, but is the same as on the Sebenza 31. You probably already know that. So the Inkosi is a thicker version of the Sebenza. Basically, it also has finger grooves and also has a raised spine with jimping for your thumb to rest on while cutting. I show you the hollow grind real quick here. It's not a deep hollow grind, it's quite robust. How thick is it? It's 23 thousandths behind the edge, which is 0.58 millimeters. Here's a cold steel code 4 in comparison, so you can see maybe the differences between the deepness of the hollow grind here. Probably are able to tell that, right? So, but apart from that, the Inkosi actually has a very functional blade shape. Of course, this is the drop point. There's also the Insingo, which is a sheep's foot, and the Tanto, which look different in any dimension. Of course, the drop point here actually makes use of that cutting edge quite good. Here for Cold Steel Recon 1 as a comparison, so you can see they both have almost an identical cutting edge, although the Recon 1 has a little bit more curvature to it, but it is actually a smaller blade with the same amount of cutting edge. So it makes use of its blade length to full extent, you could say. Also, the blade has the swedge here on the spine side. It's not a swedge, it's a rounding. It's a crown spine basically, but it serves as a swedge, so it gives you a pointier point, but the point is still robust and thick overall. So yeah, quite a stout build actually. I personally bought this blade because I wanted to have one pocket knife that I could bond with for a longer period of time, and I was sort of, you know, disappointed and blessed at the same time. I was disappointed because I don't like, and this is basically still present, I don't like that this room between the groove and the thumb stud is really small, so sometimes you want to open the thumb studs and you can obviously not press on those thumb studs directly because they are so pointy. Sometimes you slip off here and then you hit the thumb stud directly on, which is very annoyable. So you have very little room to get your thumb in here and open the knife. So yeah, I don't know why Chris Reeve, they keep using these weird thumb studs in comparison to any other knife maker on the market, almost any other knife maker on the market. What the hell, Chris Reeve? Just use normal thumb studs. These are bullshit, at least on this knife. On the Sebenza they feel a little bit better because you have more room, you know, using activating the knife. By the way, I have small hands and you can get a full grip on here. Also larger hands can get a full grip on here. I checked that with other people. Yeah, what else? The handle shape, I didn't like that concaveness that it has to it, but actually right now I think it's very comfortable and I really enjoy that handle shape now. Yeah, also my edge on this knife actually came dull. It was, you know, blunted from buffing probably. At least it looked like it, that they sharpened it and then buffed it down again, which is probably not true for all Chris Reeve knives, I'm very much sure. So yeah, well, it's not a big issue, I just sharpened it myself again. Yeah, The blade shape, actually, like I said, is very functional. It's made very well. The grind is rather thick, so it's not the best slicer here, obviously. They have a stone wash in here, which helps with rust and scratches. But, you know, CPM S35VN, which is the steel on this, is not a steel that rusts too easily. It's a steel that also, you know, for the easiness of sharpening, it holds an edge decently well, I would say. It's not too hard to sharpen and doesn't hold an edge too long either. So it's a well-balanced steel, actually. But it loses its razor edge rather quickly. It keeps a working edge for a really long time. I usually have, by the way, this is 20 degrees per side from the factory. I put a rather, you know, ever so slight polish on the edge with rather toothy, because I like that for EDC a little bit more. I prefer definitely Spyderco ceramic stones for resharpening this blade. After 1 month of every single day carry, this knife has definitely some damage to the edge. I've resharpened it once in this time, in the 1 month daily carry. By the way, this knife is in total 1 year old and I have totally carried probably 2 to 3 months, but I just recently finished 1 month carry every single day. I have a couple of dull spots in here. Yeah, I put it to fine ceramic once, I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I'm not even sure. And I stropped it also once, and you can see it slices, but I can definitely feel the dull spots. Wave cutting is rather hard right now, so, but this is thin. Oh, actually, like I said, it has some dull spots here. Yeah, this is rather thin magazine paper here. Also, yeah, so what did I cut? I cut a lot of cardboard and you know, tape and gunk and zip ties and wood and even a seat belt and a jean and a lot of food and plastics. Basically, this was my cutting in the last month. So also I forgot to mention, these are, I think, like between 59 and 60 HRC. Like I said, 23 thousandths, 0.58 millimeters behind the edge, 20 degrees per side. So let's move to the handle. The handle scales are not as slick as you may think they are, although they are completely smooth. But this aluminum coating on the titanium, by the way, the titanium they use is just awesome, as it seems to be very high quality. The aluminum coating, or blasting I should say, helps with traction, so even in wet and sweaty and cold hands, it works rather well. It's not best in cold conditions, but you know, it works rather well. Also, I've done some testing here on my channel. So the lanyard placement. The lanyard, as it comes from the factory, is placed like this, which is actually quite annoying because it pushes in your hand constantly. So I'm not a lanyard person anyway. At least on this knife not, because there's enough sticking out of the pocket. That's really not an issue, but if you like lanyards or like to customize your knife, you know, with lanyards, this is probably not the knife for you. So here is it, how it looks in the pocket with blue jeans. You can see those shiny screws. They are, you know, a little bit noticeable, especially with the gray color in general. So sometimes when I went to public buildings, I actually put the knife in my pocket like so, to not, you know, public buildings usually don't allow pocket knives, so that's why I did that. At least here with my laws that I have. So, and also the pocket clip, as it comes from the factories, sits rather you know, loose above the scales. So it actually got caught on a couple of times on something and was I almost lost it. I think 2 or 3 times now in total. But what I did, I just bent the pocket clip down so it now rests on the scales, and now it's really not an issue anymore. So it's fixable, and I think Chris Reeve themselves, they provide pocket clips that have more tension called the pinch clip or something like that. Link is in the description box. And also there are aftermarket deep carry pocket clips, I think from MXG Gear or something like that, available. Yeah. So yeah, the blade is a little bit too noticeable for my preference, and the clip was too loose, but that's fixable. Other than that, the pocket clip is done, or executed I should say, very well. So yeah, the screws that are on here are very phenomenal in the sense of, you know, how they are made, how well they are made. In general, this knife is extremely well made. Also, the wrenches that they send you in the box are very high quality. These are from Wihar, much better than any of the ones you can get in a hardware store. Yeah, the screws, like I said, they're very well made, but they tend to come loose rather quickly, so you definitely have to use the Loctite that comes in the box. They send you purple Loctite, which is not, you know, that extreme. You can get the screws loose rather fast after this. Yeah, let's talk about the lock. The lockup is rather solid on this knife, so quite a late lockup. I have no side-to-side and up and down blade play. You can see my action here. My knife is rather smooth. Most of the time I just open it like so, because that's really the Chris Reeve experience. Has an amazing sound and an amazing feel for frame lock. I really like that. Yeah, the lockup, like I said, is quite late. Blade centering on mine is, I think it's perfect. Let's see, it's a little bit off. I can probably adjust that. The lock strength is, you know, if you put up and down pressure on this blade, so pressure from here to here, for example, if you pry something and then pry it up like this, the lock can definitely fail. I did some spine wax, the blade failed immediately, which actually sucks for a lockup like this and for, you know, a blade that's that solidly built, but you know, it is what it is. That's something you wouldn't be encountering in your day-to-day life too much. Anyways, the side-to-side strength is though very good. You have a rather thick blade, and the blade goes in the handle quite a long time, quite a long distance I should say. And then you have those large washers, like I said, and then the titanium handle. So if you do put side-to-side pressure on it, you know, up and down pressure, and this is side-to-side pressure, so if you do pry like this, the energy gets transferred in the phosphor bronze washers and then in the handle scales, and you know, also in combination with this really large pivot, you can see in comparison to other knives, this is a really big freaking pivot. It's quite a robust build side to sideways, and in general, I think for having a blade that lives a long time, I think this is definitely, you know, one of those knives that can go on for a long time in terms of how it is built. It's just not the strongest from the lock right here, and I was actually quite disappointed that this lock slips so easily. The ceramic ball that's in here was on the blade. That's normal. You can see that probably here. You know, usually on frame locks the blade actually wears the titanium lock or the steel insert, and here it is the complete opposite. The ceramic ball wears the blade, which, you know, has the same result. The lock just travels over to this side a little bit more. My lock traveled just ever so slightly since I have it. I have no lock stick now. It's very smooth, very smooth. Also have a video how to fix lock stick, which by the way is not a bad thing. Lock stick in general is not a bad thing, makes the knife more safe for you. So yeah, screws, replacement pocket clip and all that is also available from Chris Reeve, such as different types of lanyards. They sell those also through their dealers. Yeah, in the end, is this a good knife? Yeah, this is a phenomenal knife, and I am definitely happy with it, and it has definitely sold me to buy more Chris Reeve knives in the future. In fact, I've already ordered an Umnumzan. Yeah, and I'm still waiting for this one to arrive. But yeah, Chris Reeve, the quality is just amazing. It's everything that people say it is. They have such high standards that they have become a standard in the industry themselves, basically. Here's the question: would you buy this knife again? Honestly, nope. I would go with a Sebenza or an Umnumzan because they slice better, they are thinner behind the edge, and they don't have this issue right here. By the way, Chris Reeve, please change the thumb studs on the Inkosi there. It's just terrible. It is terrible, and I use my hands a lot. I have, you know, my fingers are really beat up. I don't even have feeling on my thumb anymore. So I don't know. What else? Yeah, who is this knife for? I think there is definitely a person out there that this knife is perfectly for. I don't know. I could see this in a lot of people. I could see a lot of people being happy with this knife. It's just not the perfect knife, the perfect Chris Reeve knife, at least for me. It took me quite a long time to understand Chris Reeve, you know, what makes them special, because it's definitely, you know, the best performance you get for the price, but you get a lot of build quality, and this is, you know, you just have to respect it. Also, these knives have a lot of character, they have a lot of soul, and as you can see, you know, over time, especially with this handle finish, they pick up scratches rather easily. No, I don't carry anything else in my pocket with this knife. Yeah, but they definitely build up more character as you use them and have them, and they are phenomenally made, and they just have a lot of soul, at least in my opinion. Yeah, but price-wise, you probably won't get the best deal, and you won't get the best, you know, knife for the price. Definitely not. But you know, it's just, you pay for the quality, of course. And you know, what else? Yeah, will I sell this knife? Probably not. I will maximally trade it for another knife and probably give this to someone I really like, or keep using it myself. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I don't regret that I bought it. I just, if I knew what I knew now, I would have bought a knife from Chris Reeve that slices a little bit better and doesn't have this issue here. Yeah, but apart from that, phenomenal knife. Phenomenal knife. I think that's everything. Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye, people.